Hedge offers smart software for filmmakers, and here's an overview of everything they have.
This is a CineD Gear News video, supported by B&H and CVP.
Hi, this is Nino from CineD here at IBC 2022. I'm here at the Hedge booth with Paul, the co-founder of Hedge?
Both.
Okay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Long time no see. I think last time we talked, you weren't called Hedge for Mac anymore, but I think it was not long after that. But a lot has happened.
Yeah.
You guys originally, we reported about it years ago, did a very, very convenient transfer management software that was very intuitive, or still is very intuitive. But you've expanded a lot beyond that. Maybe you can just give the audience a little bit of an overview of what happened.
So yeah, a lot has happened in 5 years. We started with Hedge, still our flagship app to copy multiple camera cards into multiple backups. But of course, that's not just what you do when you're in production. So we now have Edit Ready as well, acquired from Divergent, and we added raw codecs to it to let you transcode all that material into something you can actually edit with. If you need to have scopes on set or during color grading part of the production, we have Scopebox. And then when you're ready actually for post-production, there's PostLab to let you collaborate in Final Cut Pro, in Premiere Pro. And for Avid, we have something special now that's brand new. And then all the way at the end, if you go to LTO, there's Canister. And that's basically the whole run-through of a workflow from camera to archive.
Okay, so that is the vision, is to kind of accompany the footage just from ingestion to archiving?
Well, the actual vision is that we want to remove everything from the process that's boring. We estimate about 50% of that process is actually pretty technical and non-creative at all. And we think nobody got into this industry to be half of the time creative. So we try to bring all the technical depth of that process down and just remove all the boring human, basically the friction out of that process into something that's predictable.
Let's just touch on some of the software pieces that our audience probably maybe hasn't seen yet. So you mentioned Edit Ready is a transcoding software.
Yes.
So how does it work? It's for making proxies or?
Yeah, exactly. So Edit Ready has been on the market for 15 years or so, and it really focused originally on DV and then H.264 and ProRes stuff, but nothing raw. And since we acquired it from Divergent a year ago, we've brought all raw codecs to it, Blackmagic, Red, Airy, all of them. And we've done that not just in a plain way that you put a lot on something, but we actually do the real transforms with the real color science of all camera vendors. So typically no one has the time to really learn color science. So this removes all of that. So you can do, for instance, you're shooting with Blackmagic, Red, and Airy, and you like Log C, then you can say, well, I just want Log C, everything, and we do the proper transforms into all of that.
And what was the third piece of software you mentioned? I forgot the name.
Scopebox. So Scopebox allows you to look at video with scopes, with all the stuff you need to assess the video itself, if it's quality, if it's illegal, if it's clipping. Basically, it's used by DOTs on set or colorists during the grade, and it gives you that sense that you actually know that the video itself is well, because you transfer it with Hedge and it's all verified, but if there's a problem in the shot or on the sensor, you wouldn't know if you don't use scopes or look at everything through.
Very cool. And you also mentioned archiving.
Yeah.
So what is your archiving solution?
Our archiving solution is Canister. The problem we noticed in the industry, or actually were asked by LTO vendors to fix, is that what we did with Hedge for backups, commoditizing making multiple backups instead of just doing one because it costs time. The question was, can you do that for LTO as well? Because LTO is super technical and very, very error prone. The hardware has been around for 40 years already, but it's become really fast actually for an LTO tape archive solution. So Canister really dumps that down and takes care of all the technical bits. Does about 90 checks on boot.
Definitely need to try that out. Honestly, we've had an LTO tape thing at our office for a long time, and we've been neglecting the long-term archive of our footage for way too long, because it is, as you said, it's a reliable process, but it's also very slow.
Yeah.
And it's something you need to wrap your head around with all the different software solutions that are out there. So very curious to try Canister out. So last but not least, Mimic. That's your latest acquisition. It's an Avid plugin. How does it work?
Well, with PostLab, our platform Final Cut Pro and Premiere Pro, we added at some point an invention we call remote locking, where we allow to use bin locking on cloud drives like Lucid Link, our own post-lab drive, Box. And that solved a lot of problems for remote teams during the pandemic. But after the pandemic, a lot of teams realized they also need to do on-prem productions or even hybrid productions. And then you need to juggle several solutions. So we started talking to the people of Mimic who do the local bin locking part for people that don't have a Nexus. And we decided, well, if we marry your technology to our technology, ours is Apple Silicon ready, yours isn't. If we marry the two, then we actually have a solution that every Avid editor can use out of the box without the massive cost of storage. So that's the new Mimic.
Very cool. So in general, I mean, how does it work when somebody purchases anything from Hedge? What are the business models? Is it subscription based? Is it an outright purchase? And what are we looking at in terms of availability and pricing?
Only PostLab is subscription because it's about cloud storage. All the others are perpetual licenses. You buy a license, it has a year of updates and support included, and after a year you can decide to either extend that or not. The app still continues to work as is. You'll still receive critical updates. So we really dislike the whole software renting thing. You need something, it needs to work offline in this industry as well. So it's always a perpetual license. Nothing stops working after a year. And we prefer people only to extend the license when they think we actually added something to the app that's useful to them. So we learn from users what is useful to them.
No, that's great. I mean, it's great to hear. We know all, in this hall there are some other big software manufacturers that get a lot of criticism for only offering subscription models, which is difficult. It's simply difficult, and especially for smaller tools like workflow tools, I think there is less willingness of the audience to actually pay perpetual licenses for that, which is very understandable, I think, because if you sum that up, if everybody runs into subscriptions, it's becoming unaffordable. I mean, we recently reported about a piece of app software that was very popular, and not mentioning the name, but something that was a very, very popular iOS app for filmmakers, and now they've moved into subscription, and it's incredible how bad the feedback is, despite the fact that it's an incredibly popular, or maybe because it's an incredibly a popular piece of software.
We actually made that mistake ourselves. When we started out with Hedge 7 years ago, thinking about it, we thought it needed to be a subscription to sustain the support. So actually the day we launched Hedge, you guys covered it, and it was a subscription. And we got a lot of people saying, I love the app, but the subscription thing doesn't work. And actually it was the same price point. And so we basically within 24 hours, we flipped that model around, and then everybody said, well, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And in hindsight, it does. If it's native software that doesn't have a cloud component, that actually an infrastructure that costs continuous money, it doesn't cost the vendor money to let you use the app. So it should be perpetual. Only when there's a cloud component that has storage in it, it makes sense to actually do subscription. But if not, if it's just an app that works locally, like your editing software, for instance, we think it should just be a perpetual purchase.
Absolutely. Very good. Thank you, Paul. Anything else you want to add for the future trajectory of Hedge and where you're going?
Well, we like to be that company that we often get emails from people saying, we know you don't fix this problem, but what do you think about that problem? Where should we go? And that's actually what we want to be. We want to be that person that you refer to when you think, I have something, I don't really know how to solve it, maybe I should give this guy a call. Well, that's the company we want to be. And then if it's useful and large enough of a problem, we'll build a solution for it.
Very cool. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks everybody for watching. Stay tuned to CineD for a lot more from IBC 2022, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.